This is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous, good-looking friends. I couldn't help but howl with laughter when I saw this headline. How Meghan Markle backing Joe Biden would impact election. Is Jack Royston trying to get Trump elected? We all know that anything that Meghan touches is like the kiss of death. This UK propagandist, I can't even call him a journalist, is like such a weasel. Every article that he writes about this couple is like pure gaslighting. This article is filled with misinformation. He writes, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry endorsing a candidate in the presidential election would influence more than 40% of Americans, according to polling for Newsweek. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex campaigned vocally for Americans to go out and vote in 2020, attempting to walk a delicate tightrope of neutrality, despite Meghan calling for the change we all need and deserve. They've never formally endorsed a candidate. Meghan's views on Donald Trump are, however, not a mystery. She spoke out against him before meeting Harry, and it's claimed the prince spoke negatively about the Republican former president when he reportedly fell for a telephone prank by Russian tricksters posing as Greta Thunberg. So this publication, hardly credible as well as award-winning journalism, went to the strategy firm Redfield and Wilton to ask them to do a polling and get a sample of Americans' temperature should Harry and Meghan give an endorsement. What's interesting here is the people that they work with are all left-of-center groups and companies that need this type of work done in order to boost their clients. So here we have here with the results of this so-called poll of 1,500 Americans, most likely all liberals, writes here around 21% said that they would be more likely to vote for a candidate endorsed by the Sussexes compared to 20% who would be less likely and 48% who said it would make no difference. And that's probably because they don't care about Harry and Meghan, don't even know who Meghan is, and quite frankly, wouldn't even look their way. It then goes on to say the data suggests 30% would support the couple making an endorsement, while 34% said they would neither approve nor disapprove, and 26% said they would be against such a move. Well, here's my take on this. Meghan Markle can do whatever she wants because she is an American citizen. If she wants to go and vote, let her go and vote. If she wants to help the Biden campaign, let her go and help the Biden campaign, but do it under Meghan Markle. When she is representing as the Duchess of Sussex, that's where I have a problem. And the same goes for Prince Harry. He has no business inserting himself in here with our politics to sway one party over the other. He should stay out of it, especially concerning our civil rights and our Constitution. And you all know how I feel about that. It goes on to say the numbers suggest Harry and Meghan's influence over U.S. public opinion in 2024 falls some way short of perceptions in 2020 when the carefully chosen comments they made caused enough of a backlash that Trump himself was moved to comment. And I think that's because nobody cares what these two have to say.
I think there's a waning interest in them now. People are beginning to see the truth, which I exposed 2 years ago in my book, Revenge. I mean, the truth about them is they are narcissistic and intent on self-glorification to profit from their notoriety. But at the time, no one wanted to believe it. That's always the problem with iconoclasts. They tell the truth, but no one actually wants at the time to believe it could be that bad.
Anyhow, their influence was strongest among those planning to vote for Biden, of whom 29% said they were more likely to vote for a candidate endorsed by the Sussexes, and 13% said less likely. And we know who these people are. This is the radical left that support BLM, Antifa. I mean, Christopher Bouzy is a perfect example of that extreme ignorance and stupidity. These are the useful idiots that support Meghan Markle and all the degeneracy that we're seeing in society today. Do we want a world to continue on with people like this? No, I don't think so.
Oh, I think Meghan's allegation of racism, because it was basically completely untrue, caused huge damage for Britain's reputation, the royal family's reputation across the world, incalculable.
So here's where Jack becomes manipulative. He continues to talk about this polling that was done with these 1,500 Americans by saying it was weaker among those planning to vote Trump, of whom 19% said they were more likely to vote for a candidate endorsed by the Sussexes, and 27% said they were more likely to vote for a candidate endorsed by the Sussexes, and 27% said they were less likely. Well, this doesn't make any kind of sense. Are we to assume that if the Sussexes had endorsed Trump, then would people listen because they were the ones who endorsed them? Or are they saying that they would switch over to Biden if the Sussexes endorsed them? Like, this doesn't make any kind of sense, but this is how Jack Royston, the propaganda, likes to twist things. Essentially, he wants people to think that Meghan and Harry have some kind of influence here in the United States. He writes, they did, however, have some sway among younger voters, including Gen Z. Well, of course, because Meghan is targeting the youth. As we all know, she is a predator. And millennials, 28% more likely and 16% less likely. Remember, the brainwashing that's going on in the United States with these generations is to keep them dumb and stupid. So what's the likelihood of an endorsement? Well, according to this brand and culture expert, Nick Eade, he tells Newsweek, I've always said that Meghan is somebody who has wanted or eyed up the office of some sort, whether as a mayor or going further, but I think on this occasion, they're probably going to keep quiet. Well, it doesn't seem like Nick knows our Megsy baby. You can guarantee if Meghan is given the opportunity to hold a mic on stage at the DNC, you can bet that she will be there. In fact, she'll probably bulldoze her way over there to make sure that she is front and center, especially if, let's say, Biden drops out and they have to replace him, and it's either Gavin Newsom, and now the rumor running around is possibly Hillary Clinton. There's no doubt that Meghan would feel right at home with these evil, corrupt people because she is one of them. Anyhow, all eyes are still on Harry and Meghan, whether that's his visa to still live in America, which has been questioned quite a few times due to his admissions about drugs. Plus, Meghan is really wanting to launch her new brand. She's got her Netflix show coming out, which is showing her as the next Martha Stewart, domestic goddess. Ugh, the delusion is real here. We all know that this is going to be an utter failure, in my humble opinion. But anyhow, Nick continues to say, so I think they'll want to be quite vanilla, unfortunately for this election, which a lot of celebrities are being. It seems to be a bit of a trend. They're not jumping on the bandwagon so much for Biden. And the reason why is that they're all cowards. They all know that they're responsible for the mess that we have right now in this country. So, of course, they're going to not say anything in support of Biden because they know the backlash is going to be real. They also know that Trump will win if we do have a fair election. I think what's different this time around that is a big game changer is that these globalists, as well as Democrats, can no longer control the information, well, at least on the platform X. I mean, they're still doing it on YouTube and Google, as well as on Facebook. But for the most part, conservative voices are being heard on the platform X. And this is what they don't like because now all the dirty laundry is coming out and they're being exposed, thus awakening more people as to how vicious and vile they have been. I mean, we know this all along as we have been following Harry and Meghan, and they are involved with a lot of this filth. Finishing up this article, back in 2020, first Meghan and later Harry urged Americans to vote in ways that were ostensibly neutral. Well, you think so? Though Meghan's initial comments were during an event for Michelle Obama's When All Women Vote initiative. Meghan said that August, we're only 75 days away from Election Day. That is so very close, and yet there's so much work to be done in that amount of time because we all know what's at stake this year. I know it. I think all of you certainly know it. And if you're here on this fun event with us, then you are just as mobilized and energized to see the change we all need and deserve. Harry also called on voters to reject hate speech, misinformation, and online negativity in a video for Time 100 in September 2020. Trump fired back that same month saying, "I'm not a fan of hers, and I would say this, and she probably has heard that, but I wish a lot of luck to Harry. He's gonna need it." Honestly, raise your hand if any of you think that Meghan and Harry are actually going to stay silent during this election season. If anything, Meghan is salivating over the potential and opportunity to insert herself where her and Harry do not belong, but of course they will because of democracy and trying to save democracy. Meghan Markle really has nothing else going on for herself except for these stupid projects that seem to be falling apart left and right.
I mean, that's the problem with the Sussexes. They are only interested in themselves. All the talk about helping society and generosity towards the underdog is all just really puff for themselves.
These two psychiatric patients actually see themselves as these influential global world leaders. And they really do believe that these virtue signaling lectures that they like to give everyone has some type of value, but instead the whole world is laughing at them.
Meghan is an agent of poison. She is a person who has absolutely remorseless in her hatred if she doesn't decide that someone should be neutralized.
So one last thing before I go. Even though the world sees Meghan and Harry as the most toxic people on the planet, you still have Hollywood engaging with them, even though we see Hollywood not even including them and not inviting them to go anywhere. They're still somehow getting opportunities. Like, take, for example, this award that's now going to be given to Tyler Perry. So when you look at this announcement that was made, you realize how fake Hollywood is. The people on this list all are connected to Ari Emanuel. He is the first one listed here. So how do you think this all came to be? And I'm sure Meghan forced her way onto this list because what did they actually do for WME? I mean, they have to give them some kind of work, right? So here you have Melody Hobson, George Lucas, Gayle King, you have Ted Sarandos, Kerry Washington. All these people Meghan has been, associating herself with. But do any of these people ever come out to support the Harkles? No, they don't. It's almost as if Meghan is just tolerated in Hollywood because of Prince Harry. I think the big thing here is Prince Harry being connected to the royal family. I think the reason why this couple is not completely shut out of Hollywood is because they do not want to lose this connection that they have to the royal family. Albeit there is no connection at this moment with the family, but it does not mean that there won't be in the future. And I think a lot of these executives in Hollywood hold on to the fact that what if Harry and Meghan do get divorced and Harry does go back to his family? They don't want to close the door on this relationship. Perhaps maybe the reason why WME is holding on to them is that they do see a near divorce in the future, maybe. And they're just holding on because the potential that can come out of that, from the interviews to the book deals to the dramatizations. I mean, you know that that's going to be the divorce of the century. It's going to be a smackdown. So I think Meghan knows that there's a lot of money to be made there. Hence the reason why she's so brazen and demanding of putting her in places where people really just don't want her to be, like this Pat Tillman Award and now this Paley Center tribute chair crap. It's quite pathetic of Hollywood, actually, because if they haven't learned their lesson by now that Meghan does not fulfill her commitments, as well as she's just a real pain in the ass to work with.
Well, the future of Sussex I think, is pretty grim. I think that they're on a permanent decline. But they will, whenever they need money, whenever they need publicity to stoke their reputation, they'll drop another little bomb. I mean, we're still waiting, of course, for Meghan's own autobiography, which I'm sure she is penning. She is a good writer, and it'll be filled with vitriol and filled with lies. I mean, she will not tell the truth because you want sensational headlines. That is the ultimate weapon she can deploy.
As the saying goes, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And that's what you get with this couple. Anyone who has seen that whatever the Harkles touch turns to shit and continues to go on striking deals and giving them contracts and money, well, when it doesn't pan out, they get what they deserve. Just my opinion. But what do you guys think? As always, I will be back with more content, but until then, please be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!
I was such a fraud.